Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Banner Zone. Welcome back to an emergency stream. As you can see with my setup, give me 1 second to position it a bit better. Some breaking news. So usually not live on a Thursday, but there is some massive breaking news. I think news that nobody was waiting for, hoping on, basically. But it is about Cambiaso. There were some excuse me, apologies. There were some early indication a couple of days ago where it's like Man City's keeping an eye on Cambiaso. And we all brushed it to the side. We were like, yeah, cool, why not? You know, why wouldn't any team really keep tabs on Cambiaso? We know that Real Madrid are interested in Cambiaso. We know that for a fact, actually. And that was the news a couple of days ago, and I think everybody was like, "Yeah, cool, you know, whatever." We won, and we brushed it to the side. We put that aside and forget about it. We're not going to sell Cambiaso. And then until Di Marzio came out a couple of hours ago with basically a bomb. However, you need to be careful with Di Marzio right now, because the way he puts out the initial tweet is completely different to when you read the article and when you hear him speak on Sky Sports Italia. It's two different things, you know. So the initial tweet is that like the initial tweet insinuate that Cambiaso to Man City is, well, advanced stages. That's what the initial tweet basically suggests. Then you read the article and it's like there's no real offer on the table. You know, it might be 65 million euros, and Cambiaso might be agreeing. Then you hear him speak on Sky Italia, and it's like value Cambiaso around 60 million, 65. However, not in January because of the circumstances, because of the transfer window, the needs we already have as a team. 65 won't do in January, and they want close to 80. Side as well, there's no offer, there's no contact between the two clubs. Actually, the contact is more between Cambiaso's agent, excuse me, and Man City. And I'm like, that is completely different initial tweet you made. The initial tweet suggested that, well, it's a few steps away. It's actually a matter of time, you know, or like a matter of a couple of hours before Cambiaso moves to Man City. And the article and actually the news story and broadcast, whatever you want to say, if you watch Sky Italia, doesn't really suggest that. It suggests that it's more between Cambiaso and his. And there's a feeling that Man City might make an offer, and it might be 65, something the club is okay with, excuse me, if it's in the summer and it's not in January, because in January we already have needs. There's not a lot of options, and you know the club wants 80 million, and then they will basically. Now that is a surprising story. Like, the surprise is not. I will read the chat out in a few people. Apologies, because there's a lot to unpack, and I know everybody has a different opinion on. But what I was trying to say is that the timing is completely off. The timing is, I think, the issue, or the main issue, or one of the main issue, is that a lot of people do not want to lose Cambiaso. I'm open to the idea, or okay to the idea, but I can live with it. Like I said, in the past, 2001, I was way too young to remember. However, if you think back at 2001, you know, selling a player like Zidane, for example, I think if that happened right now, we would all go ballistic. We will lose our mind. That was an issue at the time. However, nobody remembered that really, or like they all remember we moved on Zidane, but I don't think anyone is too about it, because what we did with the money, the players we brought in with that money, what it did to the team and success of the team, it's like it was worthy, you know, it was actually worth to move on. Like money well spent. That is the thing right now. The time off, because we have so many injuries at the back. You're letting Danilo go. There's no replacement coming in. Only Alberto Costa, who, by the way, it's not fair towards him. He's gonna need to perform ASAP for a lot of people. I think the issue is more of, yeah, you get money, and to be honest, let's be. Oh no, I will ask in a few minutes. 65 is, yeah. So if you get 70 plus, which I don't think we're gonna get, by the way, there's no way. Let's say it's 80. I think if Man City offers 65, we will move him on. We will move him on. But let's say it's 70 plus. How much I like Cambiaso, and I like Cambiaso, he's not worth 70 million euros. Like, he's not worth that money. I get the point of you're trying to build a new core, a new team. You're trying to build something young, something fresh. I get all those things. I really, really do. You know, Italian, for a lot of people, it's important. Man, he's Italian. You're an Italian player. I get all those things. I really do. But 70 million euros, if you get that, is a lot of money for a player, in my opinion, who's not 70 million euros. The timing is off. And the second point, what worries me and probably worries a lot of people, is Giuntoli. There's no proof out there. How am I lagging? Am I lagging, people? Because for me, it's not lagging. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 sec. I was not planning to do a live, so give me a second to reload it and let me know if it's still lagging in about. Wait, let me sec. Give me 1 second. Let me know if I'm still lagging. Let me check. One second, people. Okay, let me try it like this because I don't do anything about it. It's not my usual Wi-Fi. So hopefully the voice is not lagging, and it's just the frame that's lagging. What I was saying was that the second part of the issue, in my opinion, it is 5G, by the way. It is 5G. But it's not lagging on my end. That's a weird part. However, what I was saying, the second point that's a real issue for us right now, or like for a lot of people, me included, is there's no proven track record out there that Giuntoli is it to get 70 million for Cambiaso and reinvest that. You know, if I ask you guys, what would you do with 70 million for Cambiaso? How would you spend that money? I think 90% of the chat will say, yeah, get Patrick Dorgu from Lecce, get him in, excuse me, and reinvest the other money in Hansko, for example, in January. Convince, sell us Hansko and pressure Lecce into selling Dorgu. It's Lecce. You should be that even mid-season, I think everybody would say that, but nobody would believe that Giuntoli would be able to pull that off. That is the issue, because 70 million euros is a lot of money for Cambiaso. It really is. He's not worth 70 million euros. Like, let's be completely honest, how much I do like him. He's not the finisher at all at this moment in time. He still needs a lot of work. And how old is he? 24, 25? I'm not saying he's old, but, that is the situation. The timing is off, and obviously, of course, the situation surrounding Giuntoli and me not trusting him, basically. Let me see. Jürgen is saying the problem is that with the players we have bought, there's no confidence that the money we have received will be reinvested properly. That's my point. I 100% agree with that. That is one of the main issues that I think everybody is looking at, and it's like, I don't trust that. I don't trust Giuntoli to reinvest that money in a proper way. I don't. I really don't. That is the main issue. Also, if we would have brought in, for example, Araujo, even though the money is crazy, but if we would have brought in 2 defenders, the news would be less less difficult to accept, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people do not want to believe it or admit it. Our financial situation is poor. Like, we are always going to sell, and that doesn't mean, I've seen that we're not Ajax or Dortmund, we're not selling every single player. However, to balance out the books, it's a shit show. We know that it's a shit show. So we need to um, players now and then. Is it Cambiaso? Apparently it's Cambiaso, because there was an offer for Cambiaso. It's just, how are you going to reinvest that money? Are you going to be smart, going to throw it away? Are you going to buy Tomori for 35 million euros? Are you going to be stupid? Or are you going to do something smart? I think that is the biggest worry for people, even more so than moving on Cambiaso, because the last couple of games, me personally, I've not said, oh man, we're missing Cambiaso. Obviously, you're missing Cambiaso, the Cambiaso before it, because he adds a lot to the team. It makes us a better side immediately, obviously, you know, with the quality he has. However, I don't know, since the start of the season, I like, there's not a game that I did a preview and I was like, man, Cambiaso, you know, really gonna miss him. You know, that's not really the case. So I think we would accept that more if there was a track record. And somebody's saying there's a track record with Napoli. Is there really a track record with Napoli? Like, he bought a lot of players, and a lot of them are just flops or just box standard players, not that already moved on from Napoli. So yeah, he hit on a few, you know, and that's cool. But we are not in a situation where you can hit on a few. You need to hit on everything, and especially at the back. You cannot bring in three defenders and you're like, one worked out, other two they flopped, and we wasted around 50 million euros, which is insane. You know, we are not in that situation as a club. So there is no real track record. Is money on, bank on, with a lot of players he brings in. That's just not out there, and that, I think, is the biggest issue, because, like I said, if you get 70 million for Cambiaso, there's there's always going to be an idea of being the club, we're going to accept that, always. No top club ambition, this is a joke. I've said it again, we're not a top club at this moment in time. Financially not, and on the pitch not as well. So we can all be mad about it, and I agree. You know, I 100% agree. But to be a top club again, this is the path we're going to need to take. We're going to need to take. We're going to need to do sales we do not like, just to recoup money and do something in the transfer window. That's just a sad reality, but it is our reality right now. What's your channel? It's Juve Cornercast. If you type in, you will find it immediately. First thing that comes up. There's never 100% success rate in transfers. Yeah, I know. I don't think I said that, to be honest. I think nobody said that. If I'm being honest, I said he cannot miss on a lot of players. That doesn't mean 100%, but he cannot go 50%. He cannot go, because we're bringing in a lot of players, and there's a lot of chance to make mistakes, but there's no room to make those mistakes. That's say. But a serious sporting director wouldn't have sold him in the first place, because it doesn't make any sense. Well, Spiros, I get that. Financially, it makes so much sense. Norbert is in the chat. He knows better than me. I'm going to take a guess. And let's say we sell Asso for 65 million euros. I'm going to say on the books, that's about, I'm going to be generous, 40 million euro at least swing in like what's left on the books and what it will generate by bringing him in. Also, we didn't pay a lot of money for Cambiaso, so the value it generates on the books is insane. And I know it's sad to talk about that. As a fan, we shouldn't care about that. You know, it's good on the books. Like, I'm not bragging about that, but that's the mindset of the club right now. They have been looking at their situation, you know, when Giuntoli, Scaravino came in, Ferrero came in, all these guys came in, they opened up the books and it looked bad. I think at that moment in time, they knew that at one moment in time, if we get an offer for one of these players, even though it's an Italian player, high value player, whatever, if we look on the books and it's a 45 million euro swing, we need to do it. It's sad. It's really sad. And it's frustrating, because it feels like you take one step forward and two steps backwards every single time. That's extremely frustrating. However, for the club, for the people in charge, they do not care about that at this moment in time. They look at it and they are like, that's 45 million euros fresh. We can bring in two more players for that, and we can improve the players, the squad in more than one area. Let's say left back, whatever, you know, or you sell a midfield. We can improve with that money. We can improve the back line, and maybe the attacking. The attacking department as well. That's how they are looking at that, you know. And for us fans, we're not looking at that, you know. We are looking at, you're losing a top, and we do not trust you to bring in adequate replacements with the money you're going to receive. Also because it's January, people know we're desperate. They will know we have a lot of money at hands even before sold Cambiaso. We're going to take advantage of you. That is the fear. That is the issue. That is the real problem, in my opinion. Okay. Let me see. Norbert, with Cambiaso almost all of profit. He was like 6 on the books. Yeah, I mean, that's all you need to know. That's literally all you need to know. That is a massive swing for the club. Off the pitch. On the pitch, also a massive swing, but in a negative way. Champions League, this will really hurt us. Yeah, it will, 100%. I understand that, but Cambiaso is... excuse me, I understand that, but Cambiaso is not the right player to sell in a situation where he should be one of the 3 players, and you sell the rest to and improve on them. I get that. Who are you going to sell that has any value left? And I saw people saying, oh, but move on Douglas Luiz, value on selling on Douglas Luiz unless somebody's offering 100 million euro. Like, there's no value on selling Douglas Luiz. That's purely making up of money, basically. Fagioli, he some, but he doesn't have a 70, close to 70 million euro offer on the table almost. Like, what is he gonna fetch you? 20, maybe? Like, yeah, it's profit, but it's not that type of profit, basically. And even though, are there real offers for Fagioli? Like, that is things we don't know. You know, we say, oh, it's easy, move on Arthur. Arthur's not gonna do anything for the club on the books. Like, it's peanuts. Like, not gonna save the finances. That is basically the issue. You know, how better the player, how more you can fetch. And when you got him on the cheap, even better. If he's very late on his contract already, also good, because the value on the books is very low. Again, sad reality, but it's our reality. It really is our reality. And we need it. Now, that being said, you should stop buying Serie A talent as we get taxed big time by rivals. I agree with that. The rest won't bring you much. I agree. Faso is 6.8 right now. So, wow, even more. By Cambiaso sale, Giuntoli can buy 2 defenders. Well, you should be doing that even without the Cambiaso sale. Yeah, I mean, obviously. That being said, it's not a done deal. It's not. It's wrapped up. There's still no offer from Man City. There is no offer from Man. We're not even sure that it's actually going to happen. We just know that it's on the board that it could happen. That we do know. That's the only thing we know, right? You just need to stay calm. Like I said, with the Di Marcio thing, it's more about, he put out a very buzzwordy type of tweet, and then when you read the article and so on, you're like, wow, that, like, you took your own news kind of out of context. You know, it's more about City talking with his agent and agreeing terms with his agent, rather than Juve being in contact with Man City and talking about over a deal. Actually, there's no contact between the 2 clubs right now. So let's see what will happen. Let's see what will happen with that. That's definitely not the news, obviously, we're looking for. We were all waiting on news on a defender we're bringing in. And actually, we're potentially selling another defender, which is in that regard. You know, you lost 2. Yes, you bring in Alberto Costa, but I don't think anyone has real high hopes for him. It's like, whatever. You know, if you work out, cool, fine. And then you move on Danilo as well. You move him out of the club, and you're like, weird. And now you're also selling Cambiaso. Like, what are you gonna do? Is a plan to play McKennie there all season? You know, is Alberto Costa coming in and you expect him to have a massive impact immediately? Like, a very weird situation. That's the only way how you can how you can describe that at this moment in time, to be honest. That's only how you can describe that. But let's see how things will develop in the next couple of days, or hours, according to some, we will see, we will go. Let me see what you guys are saying really quickly. Bring a one solid defender for Sar. Forget about one, forget about two. Not selling for 70, 80 million is insanity. Cambiaso is good, but come on now. Well, I agree, like 80 euros is insane. I don't think he's worth 80 million euros. But that's a lot of money for the club. That's a lot of money if you use that in a very smart way. You can use that in a bad way. You can spend 30 plus on Tomori and on Araujo. I'm just saying something. And we will be sitting here and we will be like, that's not thinking about the future of the club, That's definitely not thinking about the future of the club. That is at everybody's fear. Even being linked to Danzo, who I think is an okay player. He's not going to move the needle. He's not going to be a game changer. So that is more of a worry rather than moving on Cambiaso. There's no PSR rules for City, I guess, since they're back on buying like crazy. Yeah, I don't know how it works in England or in the Premier League. Disaster. Giuntoli, since he arrived, almost 2 years, he's just going backwards from the coach to the players. Every single one is a flop. Conceição. Well, I would not agree with that, Alexander, because I think Thuram has been better than Conceição overall this season. I don't think Thuram is a flop, for example. But it's too soon to judge that. I talked about Mota and the comparison with Allegri first part of the season. Are we going to also compare the second part of Allegri's season in year 3? I think like to forget that. If that was not a step backwards in year 3, midway through a season, then I don't know what backwards is. But it's worrying for you that Cambiaso's relationship broke with the club and coach. This happened too often. Has it, Spiros? I've not seen any reports suggesting that Mota doesn't like Cambiaso or that they have an issue. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Did I miss a report? Because I've not seen a report. Maybe, I don't know. Do Mota and Cambiaso like each other? I have no idea. I've not seen anything about it. I don't think he's playing because Padula said that the relationship is not good anymore. Really? When did he say that? I've and that would be very strange because I don't know what would have caused that issue. Like he was playing, he got injured and struggled to stay fit, I guess. And when he came on a couple of games, he didn't do well. A few times cost us. Okay, it's a slip. Cost us yesterday, with some awful defending. So I don't know. Like I cannot talk about that. And if that's the case, then yeah, it is worrying a little bit. Because why would there be an issue with Cambiaso? I mean, he doesn't strike me like a player that's going to cause any real issues. He signed a long-term deal as well. I don't know. There's a long-term deal signed, 29, so his agent put out a buzz as well, like nothing. I didn't listen from the beginning. Cambiaso's trying to go to City. He's pushing us to make a deal. His agent, well, actually, if you peel off the news a little bit, and look between the layers, it feels agent is more in talks with Man City than Juve, and it's more coming from that direction rather than Juve's direction. He said something like that. Cambiaso didn't feel important. Gatti, Dusan, Cambiaso, and Danilo. Well, Danilo we know, but I don't care about Danilo anyway. I don't know why Gatti will be pissed because he's playing and he shouldn't be playing if we're serious, but there's nobody else, so he's playing, so he shouldn't be pissed at all. And Vlahovic is playing piss poor, so not sure what he's got as well. They were complaining about Mota's tactics. Yeah, I mean, weird. The tactic make Gatti play. Like in a normal situation, Gatti is just warming up the bench. Like, let's be completely honest. So I'm not sure what he's complaining about playing. And actually praise the Lord that you're playing, because in a serious Juve team, you're not playing. You're not sniffing that pitch, actually, So not sure what that is all about. And Vlahovic, yeah, he can talk all he want, but the tactics is not the part for Vlahovic at this moment in time. I don't believe in Giuntoli using the money well or Mota, but if Man City offers upwards of 80, it's tough to say no. If they make the wrong decision here, it may cost them their job. It may their future, or it may cost Juve's future. Either way, like you can not accept it and not improve. You can accept it and make the wrong decisions and not improve at all, or you can accept it and make the right decision and improve the squad at all. Um, it's yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation. It's a difficult situation. You know, if the news comes out that yeah, Cambiaso's gone, but they're going to reinvest that money and bringing in Hanchko, for example, I'm like, okay, you got one player out investing for the future in two players. You're trying to build something. I think we can all live with that, maybe a bit more, even though it's still hard to accept that he's leaving. The problem is if you sell Cambiaso, how do you get a replacement? Well, I just named one. You just pay up. Stop hitting on Gatti. The guy's improving so much. Well, happy for him, but he's still not good enough. That's not Juve quality. Um, if you think Gatti should be a starter for the years to come, if we want to be a top club again, then fine. That's your opinion, and I think he's doing better this season. But if we want to be serious again in a top club again, he's not starting for us. Like let's not kid ourselves. McKennie, for example, was doing absolutely brilliant, but think back at 2015 and like let's be completely serious. And I know it's a stop comparing it to Chiellini. For the love of God, stop comparing it to Chiellini, please. Because nobody was saying that about Chiellini early on. If I was young and I know to talk about Chiellini, I know what I saw. It was clear what type of player he was going to become. It was clear. The problem was absolutely shit. And when shit, I mean there was absolutely no quality in that team. And everybody was just moaning about the squad. But Chiellini was ridiculously talented at any age. Let's go back to 2050. Will Gatti start in 2050? No. Will Kalulu start? McKennie start? Will Koopmeiners start? You know, no, 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 no. These players would not start. So I'm not going to sit here and say that is the benchmark, because that is 100% not the benchmark. It's not. Your support is 92 and you think Gatti is the real deal. That for me is insane. I'm sorry. That's actually insane, you know. Good for you, but I cannot believe you actually believe that. Like, I refuse to believe that. I really refuse to. You've been watching Juve longer than me, and you've seen even way better than me, I think, you know, than I can recall. And that's your take on Gatti, then I'm sorry. That's actually crazy to me. Let me see what Romano had to say. If it's nothing, I'm gonna lose my mind. Understand Man City have direct talks with Juve on Friday to discuss on the Cambiaso deal. Initial talks on player side were positive, plus option for the first season. City and Juve will also discuss timing of the deal, January, June. Okay, that's very weird to do that in June, but fine. Or to discuss that already now for June. Massive difference from Gatti. Yeah, I mean, he's not super, but he's not bad. He's also not good enough. That's what I'm trying to say. Players like Cambiaso are hard to replace, and the money doesn't guarantee improvements. But we're struggling, and these things brew. Yeah, I mean, that is a sad reality. Like I said, like the position Cambiaso plays is very difficult to get. It really is. You know, it's one of the toughest positions, in my opinion, to find at this moment in time. You know, at the age of football, and that is the scary part. You know, because we've seen McKennie play there this season, and it's fine, but that is not the. And I'm not calling out McKennie because he shouldn't be playing that position, but it kind of shows you that what type of players you can get in those positions, and like players are not like Cambiaso can be explosive, like the way he roams down the field, the way he's good on the ball or not good on the ball. Obviously, post injury, not so good, but generally good, gives you options. Can slot in midfield, can overlap, can actually handle the ball decently, you know, not like, for example, Savona, not calling out Savona really here. He receives the ball, it looks a bit more clumsy, it looks more unnatural, it looks more like, what do I really need to do in this situation? When Cambiaso receives the ball, for example, it's natural. It feels like he knows what he needs to do in the situation. It feels like he can play football, he can link up, he can dribble past players. It's difficult, those players. So I do agree, like, replacing him in that position is going to be tough. You know, even for Alberto Costa, I know the size matter, right? But the pressure on him is going to be immense. It's going to be immense, and I don't think it's fair. That's what we created right now by not bringing in defenders and actually trying to move on another one in Cambiaso. The pressure when he plays is going to be massive. It's going to be like, you need to perform because we need you to perform, you know, otherwise we have no other option. So I kind of feel for him as well. Do you think we will beat Milan? I do think we are going to beat Milan, but yeah, I mean, not having two proper CBs doesn't have Cambiaso or Savona. I, I I see that point, especially how Malta wants to play. I see that. The potential move would just be some of the mismanagement of the club over the years, leaving us financially. Giuntoli will need to hit on the replacement targets. Yeah, this was 2006, and keep in mind, like, we can also not act like we're not a selling club, so we're not. I know people take too far, or we're Ajax or Dortmund, but we can also not act like we haven't done this in the past. Like, we've done this in the past, you know. We sold Vidal, we sold Pogba, like the list goes on. Like, we sold the ligt, you know, from like we sell players with value. We do that, you know, we really do that. It's just that timing is the issue and the trust in Giuntoli. That is the most important issue right now, in my opinion. Because if Bremer was fit and Cambiaso wasn't injured and so on, maybe we're a better team and this would absolutely be a no-go. You know, we were fighting for something and the club was like, no, absolutely not happening. But we told in the past, like, we've done it. And in the past, we were very good at replacing them, at doing things with that money in a very good way. Now we went south, you know, when we start bringing in Ronaldo, the ligt, we move out the ligt, we spend money in a ridiculous way. That's why we're in this situation right now. On Giuntoli to spend that money wisely if he actually moves out Cambiaso. That's the only takeaway. January demands more money on a transfer than in the summer, 100%. That's why the reports are saying that Man City are willing to offer 6.5, which is okay for Juve, but not now. Not in January, maybe in the summer. And that's maybe why Romano is reporting that a deal is more or for January or for June. Maybe that's also the case. Let me see if there's any news really quickly. Because he might have news, but he's been awfully quiet after that. Nothing from Di Mario. Let me see if Padula had anything to say. No, nothing to say as well. For me now, the best options for the center back are Disasi, Hansko. We should really push for Hansko. No, Disasi, absolutely not. Like, I agree with Hansko. Like, if we get Disasi, I might be Giuntoli out. If he spends money on Disasi, I might actually gonna lose my shit, because that's a player. Yeah, that's actually gonna put us back. You know, quality. It really is gonna put us back quality wise. That's not good. And hit the like button, by the way, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be live tomorrow, normal settings. I will see no Disasi on loan, not even on loan. I don't want to see Disasi at the club. Like, come on. I don't know if you watch a lot of Chelsea. I expect you to watch Chelsea, by the way. But man, the 4 or 5 times I've watched him play this season, every time I leave that game with a lot of opinions. But one of them is, man, Disasi is not. That's always in the back of my mind. You know, Disasi is actually not a good player. That's always in the back of my mind. But that's one of the things I leave the game with. Yeah, but his Monaco performance are a lot. That's like me. That's like us saying now Colomani is gonna do fantastic because he was good at Frankfurt. That's time. You know, we cannot really look at that. We need to look at what he's done now. You might believe in his quality, but we really need impact right now. And the performances he's putting in, they're not going to help us. They're just not going to help us right now until the end of the summer, or until the summer, excuse me. It's not going to help us. Replacement, no, another injury-prone player. No, we shouldn't be doing that. Then go for Dorgu. Like, put the money on the table for Dorgu. I think for me, it's straightforward. I don't know for you guys or for Giuntoli. If you move on Cambiaso for that amount of money, even if it's for 65 million euros, you go for Dorgu. I think, like, to me, it sounds straightforward. Maybe to Giuntoli, it's completely out of this world, and he's like, what, Dorgu? But for me, it's straightforward. It's like, yeah, you push to sign Dorgu. I think, like, that sounds normal to me, but we miss center back. We miss center back, so he's probably going to use that money to invest in a center back. That's, I think, what's going to happen. Hansko has only proven Eredivisie, not a top level, and the guy is 27. It depends how you view Hansko, by the way. He is 7. I have no problem with the age, by the way. Wasn't Bremer 26 when we signed Bremer? Or I don't know, whatever, you know. I have no issue with Hansko's age. I do have an issue if we're gonna pay, because I agree. I think he's a solid defender. He's slow, you know. He's not. He's good on the ball. He's decent on the ball. He's not, well, maybe Calafiori did for Motta, for example. That's definitely not the case. But he's a good defender. He's slow. He kind of like, he twists them. He turns slow a little bit. It looks a little bit woody. I do think his positioning as well. But if you go bidding 35 and something for, then I'm on your boat. I'm like, come on, hold on, like, be smart with that money, because you shouldn't be spending ridiculous type of money on Hansko. I 100% agree with that as well. I do. Let me see if there's an update, because I have Sky on. But oh, here we go. Talking about Hansko and because I saw Hansko's face on Sky Italia, and I cannot read it, so I'm gonna read Di Marzio's article really quickly. Let me open it up, because Feyenoord are opening up to selling Hansko, potentially. Let me say potentially. So that means we put more money on the table. That means Cambiaso's probably on his way out, basically. Let me read it quickly. I cannot open the article. Damn it. Okay. Juve are trying to make a bid for Hansko, who is a target for us. They made a new effort in finding an agreement, you know, that could bring player in January. Feyenoord is now open to reach an agreement with Juve for the player, even offering a slight discount to improve the terms of the deal for the Bianconeri while retaining him in the Netherlands until the end of the season. Wow, that's an anticlimax. So it's wait, let me read it out again, because that's actually crazy. Because Di Marzio is saying that Feyenoord is open to finding an agreement with Juve right now, and giving Juve a little discount to try to convince Juve to keep him in this in January, which is that definitely not gonna happen. Like, like, you're not gonna do that, then you're gonna keep him. Let me see. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. That makes no sense, because you need him now. Like, even if, no, he didn't say for. He said for June, based on the club, Feyenoord saying, because I think Hansko is pushing. I think whatever he says, he wants to leave. I think that's the situation. And Feyenoord is like, okay, you're gonna get him in June, but if we, let's say, I'm just making it, if you pay us 30 million now and you let him stay until June, 30 million is fine. If you want him now, we want 38. I think that's what Di Marzio is trying to say, that they will give Juve a better terms to the deal, maybe payment-wise, structure-wise, whatever, if they can keep him until the end of the season. You know, I think that's what Giuntoli, well, what Di Marzio is trying to say, basically. Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. But we do need a defender now, so that news is kind of weird. It doesn't really make sense. We need a defender now. We need help right now. That's just a reality. So let's see how that will go. But yeah, 16, and Still no, and actually we might be selling another defender. That's unbelievable. The 16th of January, when we knew we need defenders for like a good 2 months, and we we are out here selling and releasing defenders without bringing in defenders. Like, if you actually thought it was insane yesterday, then I don't know what the word is today. Like, this actually, this next level weird. Like, this is next level strange. I thought in the summer, I was like, man, you bring in Koopmeiners, Gonzalez, Conceição, like basically the week before we play Roma, you know, before this, like the season was kicked off already. I'm like, man, weird. Like, that's bad because you cannot prep. And now it's the same thing. Like, you already played, you already played Atalanta, you're gonna play Milan right now, and there's no reinforcement, real reinforcements, like main guys, you know, at the back. I'm talking about the back, like insane. We need to get further in the Champions League and qualify for next year. What's the max what you give for Hansko now? 30 million. What about Antonio Silva? Benfica are not open to sell. And to be honest, I have enough of Antonio Silva to say that, man, this is insane. We really need to push on for Antonio Silva. I've watched basically none. Much is the same as actually watching nothing. Like, the little I've watched on Antonio Silva, it means nothing. Like, I could have basically watched absolutely nothing, you know. So yeah, let me see if Romano has anything to say. Let me see. Romano. Okay. Yeah, crazy day, absolutely crazy. I have no idea what else I have to say. I think we just need to wait on the Cambiaso development, because maybe it's June. It feels like he's off. I think I don't want to say there's no way back, but the reporting, the agreements, he's on his way out. If it's not now, then it's in the summer. I think it's pretty obvious right now. I think I don't know how you return from that. If he agreed terms with Man City, then I think you're already in a stage where you cannot really go back, or like there's no way of coming back, because I don't think City will pull out of that. If you agree terms with Cambiaso, I think they know we have the money and we know how to convince Man City. You just need to hope that it's not 60 and it's close to 70 million euros. Otherwise, it really looks bad. And yeah, other than that, we just need to wait. We just need to wait and see. We just need to sit back right now, which we have been doing for the entire transfer window, and hope Giuntoli out. But somebody said, because I made a video saying that already failed, and somebody said, man, it's still 2-3 weeks of the window. I'm like, it's too late. You know, you played Torino, you played Atalanta, you played Milan. There's no defender for the Milan game. There's no defender game. There's no defender for the Napoli game. Like, we know what's, like, everybody knows. Like, let's be realistic. Colomani isn't even announced, you know, so I don't know if he's going to be there for the Milan game. But that's the situation right now. We're playing all these games with defenders being in, like, brought in. That is a massive issue. It's already too late. Told Motta to figure it out, obviously, during the season, you know, because there was no transfer window from the start of September when Bremer went, or the end of September when early October was it, or was it mid-October when Capao went down? You could not do anything. That's a Motta fine solution. But when the transfer window opens and you have that January lined up, and you are Motta and you're looking at Giuntoli, and Giuntoli is like, I know everybody knows what you need. Even the players know what you need, because Koopmeiners joked saying, yeah, we have no defenders. Everybody knows that. And it's the 16th of January. We're playing this insane month of football, which is going to shape up our season. You might say it's already shaped up to be whatever it is. And there's nothing. Like, you cannot put that in words. That's actually insane. But that's probably me. I think that I'm probably one of the few who have an issue with that, apparently. I think our lack of depth is costing us games more so now than earlier in this crisis. Yes. Yes, I do. Right now, I do. Earlier on, I thought it was more about, it was even more. It's the same, but the way we play, performance. But right now, it's more about these players are playing every single day, And a lot of these had long-term injuries or recurrent injuries, and they're coming back slowly in and out the squad. There's no consistency whatsoever. The only consistency is Kalulu and Gatti are playing. That's the only consistency at this moment in time. And it's not a good consistency in terms of overall performance and also just fitness level and injury, the risk of injury. So, yeah. I heard also a rumor about the true. No, that's not true. That's definitely not true. That was from Monblano. That's just gonna be happen. You want Giuntoli to be gone? No. I think it's too soon, in my opinion. It's too soon. I said 2 seasons, and let's go. Let's go. But yeah, people, I'm gonna wrap this one up because I know this is not a quality stream because I'm doing it on the fly. It's breaking news. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. Apologies for that. I will be back live tomorrow, normal settings. So if I should be much improved, then yeah, that's it for me. Let's see how that Cambiaso news will develop and just in general the transfer news. But tomorrow, I wanted to just focus on Milan because that's a big game we definitely need to win. But yeah, people, that's it. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Stay safe and have a good evening slash depending on where you are, morning for some of you guys. And we will talk tomorrow. Ciao.